O Heavenly Father, and Jehovah, the Ancient of Days, the Creator of the times and seasons, the Master of all appointments, in the time of this sacred convocation, I come before thy throne, not in flesh that seeketh recognition from men, but in spirit that findeth refuge in thy presence. I ask to hear my cry, of one who executed his last will and testament unto this world. Oh, Father, I'm one who assigned his own death warrant by forsaking the celebrations of the heathen and choosing thy appointments over the times and traditions of men. You, the Father of spirits, thou knowest the path that I have chosen, the narrow path that few be there, and the few that will find it. The ancient paths where the righteous have walked throughout all generations, and I, Father, I have declared myself dead to birthday celebrations that exalt the flesh. Dead to a Christmas celebration that mix holy with profane. Dead to Thanksgiving feasts that turn gratitude unto gluttony. Dead to Halloween observances that commune with darkness. Dead to all customs that make thy void thy commandments through human traditions. Through thy word, Jehovah, I make this declaration, and I have pronounced upon myself a death sentence in this present world. My own kinsmen, according to the flesh, regard me as one who departed from their midst, though I walk among them. My own friends call me extreme. My family says I have gone too far, and religious say I am under legalism and bondage. And yet you, Father, you know that I have never been more alive than in this death unto the world. Never more free than in this bondage unto thy law. Never more found to be in loss unto the human understanding. So as I walk, yea, Father, as I walk as live in the valley of the shadow of death, where spiritually living are counted among the dead, and where those who choose life are condemned as choosing death. So as I fear no evil, thou, and Father, are with me. Thy rod of correction and thy staff of comfort, they comfort me. Even when men have forsaken me, and thou hast prepared a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Not a table of worldly celebrations, but a table of thy word, the feast of thy appointed times, the banquet of spiritual truth that nourishes my soul. So I ask, Father, as one who seeks the sacred makings of your word, make me now unseen unto this present world. That lieth in wickedness, let me become a shadow among men, present in the form of but absent in the heart. From their festivals, let my affections be transformed into the things above. One that has brought the pleasures of pain in flesh, now registered only as a distant echoes in heart, that beateth in the rhythm of eternity. Hide me, Father, in thy secret place, thy presence, from the proud and the proud man that keep me secretly from your pavilion, from the strife of the tongues of the ones who will call me back into Egypt of bondage. So, Father, again, let me be present in this form, but absent in heart. Let me be fully seen in thy eye, O Jehovah, and let every tear I shed in this separation be precious in thy sight. Let every moment of loneliness choose thy ways over human approval. Be counted as fellowship with thy sufferings. Let every celebration I forsake be recorded as a sacrifice acceptable unto thee. Every tradition I abandon be ascribed as evidence of my love for thy commandments above all approval of men. So I pray this, Father, that I have learned that to be carnally minded is death, but spiritually minded is life and peace. So I ask, renew my mind daily by thy word. Transform me by washing of the water of the word in thy scriptures. Let not the conforming pressure of this world squeeze me back into this mold, but keep me transformed by continually renewing of my understanding according to thy truth. As I have entered not into the silver and gold that perishes, but the treasures of thy word, and let thy inheritance multiply within me. Let thy law be sweeter than honey and a honeycomb, and more precious than fine gold, more valuable than all celebrations of this world can offer. Let thy word be a lamp unto my feet as I walk through this dark valley, and the light unto my path as I navigate between celebrations of flesh and the appointed times of spirit. So I ask for the words of Jehovah that it becomes my feast, thy presence, my celebration, thy word, my entertainment, thy law, my delight, thy spirit, my companion in this journey from the flesh into spirit, from the seen unto the unseen, from the temporal into the eternal. In this valley of the shadow of death, that is the presence of this world, I pray, Father, that thou art my life, in the silence where human voices no longer calls me to their table. Thy voice alone speaketh peace in my soul. Let this prayer, Father, raise above as incense, lifting up my hands to you as this sacrifice that I have made. And this is a sealed testament of my spirit that confirms this separation of thy blessing. And all, Father, who hear this word in this world, to be alive unto Jehovah and to the name that you have given me. So this name, Father, for I have passed over. I have passed over as a lamb, seeking your bread of life. And as these words goes again, Father, that thou hast become my feast, my bread. So thy presence will always be my celebration. Thy word will always be my entertainment. Thy law will always be my delight. And thy spirit will always be my companion on this journey. So this, Father, I confirm that all that you have said, I will do. I'll offer this in the name of Jehovah upon the altar. As I go forward, Father, I pray this in the name of Jehovah. In Jehovah, I will always pray. Amen. And shalom, everyone. Shalom. I want to welcome everyone to the house of the lost sheep of Israel. I'm your pastor here. I want to make sure I get a couple of things solid here. Just give me one moment, and to where I can get this this setting here. So just give me one moment here. And there we go. We are all set. So I want to welcome everyone here. And we have a lot of things that is going on. So we have a few announcements that we must move forward on. And one of them is later today. As once we go into the Zoom sessions, we will be having the children classes as normal. Well, once that children class release, we will be going through the similitudes. We're going to have 8 sessions of this, to where I was truly confounded with some of the information that was being given to me out of people's mouths this past week. Because most times when I ask people, do they truly understand me? They always say they do, but come to find out they actually don't. So what I will be doing, I will be running 8 similitude classes today. It's going to be 1 this week, and we're going to follow 8 weeks. And then we can start back with Matthew, as well as we can start back on our regular things. But our biggest issue is when people sit there and I ask you the clear questions, do you understand? If you don't understand, don't say you understand. Because all it does is put you more into the abyss as I move forward. So this is open for everybody. Everybody is welcome to be in there, but it's going to be an interactive class that I will be having in the back, that we will be doing in Zoom. It's not something the way you just sit back and just listen, but it's sit back and you're going to be making sure you're taking notes. And as I said, it will be 100% interactive. So that will be going on today. Right after the children class release, we will be having questions and answers and other things happening before then. But as soon as that class is over, we're going to immediately go into the similitude class. So hopefully everybody will be able to join that there. But now back to what we is looking for. What we are looking to do. And we're looking at this here. This last will and testament. We have to understand. In this last will and testament, in a friend, is it an enemy or is it you? This is the point we came to, in a point to where I have to have reached. So I want to make sure that all of us understand exactly what's going on, because I'm going to run some scriptures and then I'm going to show you the precept, identification, and classification on what I wrote as my last will and testament to all humanity. Because today I'm going to ask you a couple of things. I ask you to hearken unto the words that have been given to me as the night watches. I want you to understand the spirit of prophecy as it descends in, or open mind for you to understand, to perceive the mystery that is hidden from the foundation of this world. Because I stand before you today, one who will speak wisdom, not as one who speaketh wisdom of man, but as a messenger bearing dark sayings and ancient parables that was divided the soul from spirit, to discern the thoughts and intents of the heart. So as we move through here, the burden which I bear is heavy. For I must speak unto you of death, not death of the flesh, that all men fear, but the death that leadeth unto life, and passing over from one kingdom to another, that few be there and who will find it. So today I declare unto you my last will and testament, not as one departed from the earthly tabernacles, but as one who already has died to this world and its corruptions. So yet I live unto Jehovah in spirit, but this testament is not written with ink or in parchment, but it engraved upon the tablets of the heart by the finger of the Most High. So I impart this unto the children of Jacob, to be the beneficiaries of an inheritance that thieves cannot steal nor time corrupt. But if you hearken unto Israel your father, you will understand this last will and testament that stands before you. Because I'm going to open the seal of a spiritual testament. In my first, I'm going to unveil unto you the mysteries of this dark, terrible parable that I want you to understand. It's a parable that shakes every foundation of trust, friendship among you. So for these last days, then iniquity will abound, and the love of many will wax cold. So this great danger cometh not from declare the enemies who will approach with the sword drawn, but those who come with the kiss of peace in their lips will carry the daggers in their hearts. The physicians who also should kill become these dealers of poison. The friend that should comfort have become betrayers of the innocent. The very ones who should be as medicine unto the soul, they also have become the instruments of spiritual death. So, before I speak unto you, according to the Spirit, I must first expose the corruption that men bound in flesh through their treachery and trusted companions. I need you to prepare your hearts to receive this dark saying for the questions that one shall pierce every soul that have ears to hear. So I'm going to run these scriptures for you to understand. And I'm going to run, it's about 10 or 11 of them I will be running. And then I give you the precept identification to them all. Leviticus 19:17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart, and thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and suffer not sin upon him. Deuteronomy 32:23. 33. Their wine is the poison of dragons, the cruel venom of apes, snakes. Proverbs 14:12. The wicked desireth the net of evil men, but the root of the righteous yieldeth fruit. Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call good evil and evil good. Call evil good and good evil. They put darkness for light and light for darkness. For the bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. First Samuel 8:11-14. And he said, this will be the manner of the king shall reign over you. He will take your sons and appoint them for himself for his chariots, and to be his horsemen. And some shall run before his chariots, and he will appoint him captains over thousands, captains over 50s, and set them to hear his ground, and heap his harvest. and make his instruments of war and instruments of his chariots. And he should take your daughters to be confectionaries and cooks and to be bakers. And he should take your fields and your vineyards and your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. 1 Samuel 8:19. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel. And they said, Nay, but we will have a king over us. 1 Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which, while some covet after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. 1 John 4:1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. Yeah. Can't get it over well. I can run this on. I can still run it. And we're going to look at 1 Thessalonians. (5:21). Prove all things, hold fast to that which is good. Matthew 7:16. Ye should know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Sirach 38:1. And I'm going to put here Sirach 38. Actually, I can still run them all in the same place. Sirach 38:1. Honor a physician with honor due unto him for the uses which you may have of him. For the Lord have created him. Verse 4. The Lord created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not harbor them. And the last is this. We're going to look at Psalms. And we want to make Psalms 55, verse 12 through 13. It was not an enemy that reapproached me. Then I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me, that did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man of my equal, my guide, and my acquaintance. This shall I give you the understanding on what I just read. So this dark parable that I have put together, you see, to where we now construct together. As we said in here, thus said Jehovah of hosts, behold, remember I will speak in dark speeches, utter parables from old concerning the treacherous heart. For the latter days shall friend rise against friend, companion shall shift up against companion, even as it is written, a man enemy shall be they of his own household. This we see. I want you to clearly understand where these verses is coming from. Verse 2 tells us, "And the word came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesied against the false virgins, for it is written in Psalms, David the king, for it was not an enemy that reapproached me, then I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man of my equal, my guide, and my acquaintance. Hear, O heaven, and give ear, O earth, for Jehovah has spoken. I have nourished and have brought up companions. But they have rebelled against the hand that fed them. Like the serpents that they have turned to bite the breasts that warm. Woe unto you that call friendship sweet and enemy bitter. Woe unto you that put light for darkness in the chambers of the heart. For your companions has become vipers in your bosom, and your trusted ones, as scorpions under stones. I want you to meditate as we move forward, making sure we understand what is happening. In that day, saith Jehovah, a friend shall devour the friend, and the acquaintance shall consume the acquaintance. For I have seen in a vision the great betrayal coming, when the brother shall deliver up brother unto death. Behold, this is a transitioning moment from the natural sin, the spiritual understanding, to the divine reality. I have set before you this day of mystery, this mystery and horror. The serpent in Eden came not with fangs revealed, but words smoother than oil. Yet war was in his heart. Even shall the friends in the last days speak peace while plotting destruction. This is running to a lot of us. A lot of people, a lot of us here today should be understanding what I'm speaking, understanding what is written. Therefore, saith Jehovah, as the morning cloud passes away, so shall the false friendship vanish in the day of trial. But the trusted companion shall be as the thorn in the flesh, and the familiar friend as the sword that thrust through the soul. I look, and remember, a great deception covered the earth, where men called enemies were friends, and friends were enemies, where light was called darkness, and darkness called light, and bitter was sweet, and the mouths of deceived. The burden of Egypt. The burden of Egypt is upon them that trust in flesh. The burden of Egypt is them that trust in flesh. Their feet run swift to shed innocent blood. Their tongues are set on fire of hell. Though they speak the language of Zion with their lips, hear ye the word of Jehovah from the wisdom of Sirach. The faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear Jehovah shall find him. This is such a true statement. But where are the faithful when the storm wind bloweth? This, as we writing, and we see this, as we see here, and I beheld, and lo, the medicine was turned into poison, and the healing was become a plague upon the people. The friend who should restore the soul had become the destroyer of the soul. Moreover, the word of Jehovah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against the false physician of the people, for they have perverted the medicine which I created, and made bittersweet waters of life. You can see where all this is falling into play. All of it. Let's look at something. For it is written, Jehovah created medicines out of the earth, for he is wise that will not harbor them. But the wise are few, and the markets are many. In the day of healing becometh poison. Medicine becometh death. Unto the people know that the end of all things is at hand, and the judgment of Jehovah shall not tarry. Therefore, Son of Man, speak unto the house of rebellion, search your hearts, and see if there be any wicked way in you, lest ye be found among the betrayers in that day, when every secret thing shall be brought to light. I want you to really get closer, because we're going to keep going deeper and deeper. And it says this. Therefore, Son of Man, shall speak unto the house of the rebellion. For I have seen the vision of Cain and Abel, renewed brother against brother in the field of the world, where the innocent blood crieth from the ground, and the guilty flee through none pursue. When thou sittest at meat in thy company, and thy companion in peace, let not thy heart devise evil against him. When thy tongue speaketh unity and love, let not thy spirit plot mischief in thy chambers. When thou puttest forth thy hand, help thy brother. Let it not be a snare unto the entangled his feet. When thou givest counsel, as the wise man, let it not lead his soul down into the pit. I know this is probably bothering some people now as we speak. Lest thou be found among the workers of iniquity, whose names is written in the book of betrayers. Whose names is written in the book of betrayers. For a friend who becometh an enemy shall drink the cup of wrath without mixture. Remember, I shall show you a mystery from the Chronicle of Kings. Ahithophel, the brother of folly. Ahithophel, the brother of folly. We're going to speak on him later. The counsel of the wise of all men turned his wisdom to folly, and his counsel to destruction. And his end was the rope in the hanging tree. Yea, Judas, the Iscariot, chosen among the 12, who broke bread at the table of the master, made his kiss a signal of betrayal. In his reward was 30 pieces of silver and filled of blood. Listen. Ye have ears to hear the word of Jehovah, the wounds of a friend cut deeper than the sword of an enemy. I want you to personally think about that. The wound of a friend cut deeper than the sword of an enemy, because he wasn't expecting it. And the soul prepareth the arm against the declared foe. But who can guard against the trusted hand? Who? In that day of battle, the heart knoweth its adversary. The spirit guardeth itself for war. But the day of betrayal, the soul is naked, for the trusted one hath the keys to every gate, even as it is written, yea, my own familiar friend, whom I have trusted, which did eat my bread, have lifted up his heel against me. And I will tell you the stages of the spiritual plague. Why I can no longer live in this world according to the flesh. How a friend is transformed into the enemy marks these signs, ye sons of men, that you may discern the signs, you may discern the times in the seasons. First cometh a small seed. I spoke to you while and time again about this small seed, these seeds of mustards. And this comes a small seed of doubt planted by the adversary in the garden of the heart. As the serpent whispered in Eve in the beginning, so doeth the whisper to the friend. and the ending. Then sprouted bitter root, 2, jealousy. When the friend beholdeth his companion's blessing, his eye becometh evil because the other is good, and darkness enters where light once dwelt. Then cometh the third, swelling of pride. The ancients of sin, which cast down Lucifer from heaven, the heart saith, why should he be exalted above me? I am not equal in wisdom and in worth. The fourth, the mouth is filled with bitterness. The tongue that once blessed now curses. The tongue that lips once spoke peace now breatheth out threatenings. The words of life becometh words of death. Next cometh counsel of the wicked in the secret places, where the corrupted friend plotted against his brother. In darkness he digs a pit for the innocent. He lays snares in the pathway of the upright. The last cometh the hour of betrayal itself. When the kiss of peace becometh the signal of destruction, when the hand of fellowship is raised to strike, and the covenant of friendship is broken forever. But hear the word of the Comforter, ye that mourn. Jehovah seeth all things, and his justice sleepeth not. He knoweth the thoughts and the intents of every heart, and will render to every man according to his deed. So we have to look at something. Thus saith Jehovah, I search the hearts and try the reins, and give every man according to his ways. The betrayer shall not escape my judgment, neither shall the innocent suffer without recompense. Therefore weep not, ye that have made a wound by the false friend, ye that have been wounded by the false friends. For your tears are precious in the sight of the Most High. You shall wipe away every tear from your eye, and comfort you as a mother comforted her children. But until you that numbered among the betrayers, which are many, while yet the day of grace remaineth, saith Jehovah, return unto me with all your heart, with fasting and weeping in this morning. Remember the tale of Judas, who despaired and sought death rather than mercy. But remember Peter, who wept bitterly and found forgiveness, though he had denied thrice. For it is written, Jehovah searches all hearts and understandeth all imaginations and thoughts. So therefore I need you to examine yourselves in light of my word. Prove yourselves whether ye be in faith. Let every man look into the mirror of his soul and see whether the enemy dwelleth within. Do it dwell within you? Ask ye your heart the question before the throne. Have I been faithful to those who trusted me? Have you been faithful to those who trusted you? Or have you played the part of the friend while harboring the spirit of the enemy? Have my words been true of vanity? Have my deeds matched my profession of love? When a brother was in need, did I lift him up? Or did I pass by like the priest and the Levi? When temptation came betrayed for gain, did I resist like Joseph in Potiphar's house? Or did I sell my integrity for silver? Like the son of perdition who betrayed the innocent. Know this, ye children of men, every deed is recorded in the book of heaven. Every secret shall be revealed in the day when Jehovah shall judge the secrets of men and the secrets of men's hearts. Ye should know then one thing. Yet even know while mercy door stands open, while the spirit of grace yet striveth with men. Turn from your evil ways and live, for Jehovah delighteth not in death, of the wicked. Therefore examine yourselves whether ye be of faith. Prove yourselves. Know ye not your own selves. Seek Jehovah while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his ways, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Restore that which ye have taken by violence. If you have been here, and you have done anything against your neighbor, you taken this by violence. Many has taken baptism by violence. Heal your wounds that you may be made, that you have made, make right the wrongs you have committed while the sun of mercy shineth. And unto you that suffer betrayal, learn wisdom from the serpent and the dove. Be wise as serpent in discernment, yet harmless as doves in dealings. Put not trust in the arm of flesh, for the breath of man is in his nostrils. Cursed is he that trusteth in man, maketh flesh his arm. Many have done this. But blessed is the man who trusteth in Jehovah, whose hope Jehovah is, for he changes not, neither is worry, and in him is no shadow of turning. In that day when the books are open, and every man shall give account of his deeds, let no blood, let no lifestyle be betrayal be found upon your hands, nor guilt of the friend, enemy, upon your soul. For Jehovah shall judge between the faithful and the false, between the true friend and the betrayer. He shall separate the wheat from the chaff and the sheep from the goats in that day. Therefore watch and pray, ye sons of men, for ye know not the hour when the Son of Man cometh. Be a faithful friend one to another, as Jehovah has been faithful to you. Let your love be without dissimulation, your friendship without treachery, your words without deceit, your heart without guile. And you who have been victims of false friendship, learn the wisdom. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. When a voice shall cry out for judgment, enemy or friend, which art thou? Which art thou? I want you to think about that. I want you to truly think about that. The reason why, let your answer be righteous and your conscience clear. For your hand is clean from blood, therefore, when thou art asked a friend, enemy, is it you? Is it you? Let thy answer be righteous and your conscience be clear. Thy hands be without blood. Thus said Jehovah of hosts. I have spoken it and brought it to pass, and I propose that I will propose that I will do it. Let him that have ears to hear, hear. Let him hear. And the Spirit said unto the congregation, open the door. So these doors is what we doing. These doors is open once more. That once closed. No, you was operating as one. This is why it's so serious today. These why these doors will be open in the back. They'll be open in Zoom. If you was removed from here for your ways, that door will be open. And if you change in any way, shape, or form, that door will be closed forever. So I want you to understand what we're going through here. This is why we make this last will and this last testament, this spiritual Passover, which I bring to you, to where we can understand what's happening. I want you to see something as we see this, and I want to show you something here. We'll go to 1 Corinthians. We're going to look at something real quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, from 10 and 12. It says, therefore, let him that thinketh he stand take heed lest he fall. Let him take heed lest he fall. The reason why we're going to look at this in a little bit different way. This speech and this parable which you should be receiving today is going to be a lot darker, a lot deeper. It's going to speak a lot of things to your remembrance for you to understand. Let's begin it and see the last will and testament, the spiritual Passover. This prophetic dark speech, one dead to the world. Wrote this some time back, but I want you to understand it. The burden which came unto the servant, myself, of Jehovah concerning those who have passed over from the flesh unto spirit, and be as one dead to the world, yet living unto God. So this is not just my last will and testament for myself. This is also a lot of yours, speaking on your behalf, speaking on what's going to be said. Because we have to understand what's happening. Let's look at this. We're going to look at the prelude. It says, thus said Jehovah unto his servants in the spirit of this prophecy, speak ye this dark saying unto my people, concerning the mystery of two kingdoms, two. That which is of flesh here, and that which is spirit. Remember, we're going to be learning deeply about that today in Zoom. The words of Jehovah came unto me, saying, set thy face towards those who walked in darkness, and prophesied unto them the way of deliverance. For the time of separation is at hand. Chapter 1. Please listen and understand the mystery. For the one to be carnally-minded is deaf. Do you remember Egypt? Do anyone here remember Egypt? I for yes and N for no. Do anyone here remember Egypt? We remember them hard times that we have went through. This is your last will and testament also. You have joined to me with this last will and testament. Hear now, O kinsmen, according to the flesh, ye who shared the blood of Adam in your veins, this last testament which I speak in Jehovah's name, being the final words of one who departed from your midst. The hour is come, yea, the appointed time is fulfilled, that I must pass over. So you remove it just for me. This is for each and every one of us. From this present darkness from the dominion of flesh that corrupteth and deceive, unto the liberty of spirit where Jehovah reigns. This I'm going to make available for a lot of people, to where you can give this to your family member. Because as we read this, you're going to see why I'm saying that. As the children of Israel passed through the Red Sea from slavery unto freedom, from the bondage unto promise, so must my soul cross over from death unto life, from the kingdom of this world unto the kingdom of heaven. Let this testament be as the blood upon this lifestyle upon the doorpost, a sign and a witness unto all congregation that Jehovah delivereth those who cry unto him, and setteth captives free from their chains. And we going to go down some. We want to make it so the children of Israel, I want you to understand something. I want you to really take your time. I want you to pay real close attention to this mystery on which I'm going to be showing you. Because I need you to hearken unto this profound mystery, those who really understand the nature of spiritual remembrance. When the Spirit remembers, it performs not this just mental exercise, but it's recalling past events, but it engages in sacred acts that transcend boundaries, time, and space, creating eternal bridges between what was, what is, and what shall be. This is an irreversible nature. So I need you to understand the fundamental truth. Remember in spirit. Because remembering this operates. It's the eternal realm to where we come. And there is no past. Eternal realm. There is no past, present, or future. As man measure time, but all things exist in the eternal now of Jehovah consciousness. So when we see what's going on spiritually, when we're looking at spirit, truly remembers, not the carnal mind, but merely recalls information. But with the spiritual understanding that perceives eternal significance, it creates this irreversible spiritual reality that becomes woven into the fabric of eternal self. Meaning, this you cannot call it back again, because spiritual remembrance is not like human speech. This can be retracted, or human action can be undone. It's like the word of Jehovah that goes forth from his mouth, and it accomplishes the purposes for which he has sent it, and never returning void. So when Moses commanded Israel to remember this day, he came out of Egypt, he was not speaking of a mental this recollection, but it was a spiritual participation, this eternal reality where that would connect every generation unto the faithful moment of deliverance, where the spiritual remembers this Passover. It does not just recall the historical event, but it participates in the eternal reality. Everybody follow me? A deliverance from bondage that transcends time. That when Jehovah commands his people to observe this memorial feast, is not to commemorate dead history, but it's to enter into living remembrance that makes the past present and the eternal accessible to the temporal. So when we're looking at this, the spiritual remembrance become history as connecting the past with present, because true history is not a collection of dead facts, but it's about happening long ago. But going this stream, this spiritual reality that flows from eternal past, this moment of eternal future. So the spirit remembers and create that the ancients calls resurrection. They calls this resurrection, not mere recollection, but resurrection. But it's making the presence of eternal realities. So this is why they are breaking bread and drinking of the cup. It's not as simple as something that Christ did along time ago or did a long ago, but it's a spiritual remembrance that makes his sacrifice present active in this moment. So the Spirit is truly remembers the covenant becomes connected to Abraham, Isaac, and to Jacob, not distant history figures, but there's living fathers whose faith flows through this eternal stream of remembrance into the present moment. This is why Jehovah identifies himself as the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Speaking in present tense in those who have died centuries before, because in the realm of spiritual remembrance, they're not dead, but living. Their faith forming is unbroken chain, a chain of past saints. This present believers through this eternal act of this divine remembrance. So when we look at this, when one dies to this world, lives unto the Spirit, there's a remembrance of Jehovah's commandments, his deliverance, his mercies, and his judgment becomes this irreversible spiritual reality and cannot be called back or undone, but stands forever as a witness connecting eternal purpose of Jehovah with this temporal experience of his people, making every act a spiritual reality, a spiritual remembrance of participation, or a memory of Jehovah himself, who remembers his covenants forever. You follow me? Let's look at something. We're going to kick it back up. I want to pull up two things. I want to pull up 3 verses to where we get them. We're going to look at Exodus 3 and 13. We want Romans, we got to pull Romans 8 and 6. And we want Romans 5:12. Romans 5:12. And we might as well grab James 4 and 1. We want James 4 and 1. Okay. So with this, we're gonna understand something. I want you to understand, as I'm gonna be running that parable back over there. I want you to be understanding something as we're gonna run that parable. So let me make sure this is solid. Let me make sure this is solid here. 1 second. So I want to make sure we solid on this. It says, and Moses said unto God, remember, behold, we're going to be learning a lot about that. When I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers has sent me unto you. And they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? Romans 8 and 6. Here's the answer. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Wherefore, by one man sin entered into the world, and death passed upon all men. For that all have sinned. James 4 and 1. Once come wars, fighting among you, and come they not hence, even your lust of wars and your members? The reason we roll in this is we understand it a lot more. Let's pick it up. For many seasons, yea, for years without number, have I dwelt as a stranger in the land of Egypt, the house of bondage which blindeth with lust, in the realm of darkness which ensnares with pleasures. I have served with traditions of men as taskmasters, cruel overseers who demand bricks without straw, being as a bondman in the land of the living, a slave to customs that profit nothing. I want you to clearly understand what this is saying and what I wrote here to where we can get it. Let's go a little bit deeper. Their holidays have been my labor. Their feasts, my burden. Their celebrations have been yokes upon my neck, making me to bow down to their golden calves and worship at the altars of their vanity. But Pharaoh's heart was hardened against Israel. So have those traditions hardened the hearts against truth, making void the commandments of Jehovah the Most High. Though the doctrines of commandments of men, therefore do I cry with Moses unto the generation. Remember this day which ye came out from Egypt, the house of bondage. I want you to remember this. We just read it. We have to remember this day, what we are up against, what we leaving behind us. As we go deeper with this, we're looking at verse 8, where we're going to be rolling this off of Romans 8 and 6. But I want you to understand exactly what's going on here. It says, but Jehovah in his great mercy and loving kindness, he in his abundant grace that endure forever, he has opened my eyes to perceive the truth. As scales fall from the eyes of Saul in Damascus road. He has shown me the ancient path of righteousness. The way is narrow, and through there they find it. The two paths are set before the sons of men, one leading to destruction, the other leading to life eternal. The first path seemeth right in the eyes of man. Broad is the gate, and wide is the way thereof. But the end thereof is the ways of death and hell. For many there be which go in threat. Is it you? Is it you? Many of us going to go there in threat. Many of us going to sit there and not believe what we see what's happening. Many of us going to hold on to the things of this world, no matter what. The second path is straight, and the gate is narrow. Few there be that find it and walk therein. But it leadeth unto life and peace everlasting, where Jehovah's presence filleth all in all. Between those two ways, there is no middle ground. None. No neutral territory. None. Where the soul may rest, for he that is not with Jehovah is against him. And he that gathereth not with him scattereth abroad. To be carnally minded is death, to put spiritually minded is life and peace. We're looking at the next verse, which was rolling off of Romans 5:12. Let's look at it. Remember the mystery of the heart of the peace in the present world. A generation that seeketh life, yet walketh in death, that speaketh of peace, yet knoweth not the way thereof. They calleth good evil and evil good. Their blindness. Men seek life in the pleasures of the flesh, and the riches of the moth and the rust corrupt. And the fame that passes away like the morning mist, yet all these things lead but to the grave. Every one of them. Brothers, slave brothers, as Cain slew Abel in the field. The innocent blood crieth from the ground of vengeance, but the streets floweth with blood like rivers in flood. While the guilty escape, the righteous perish. Violence filled the earth in the days of Noah, when every imagination of man's heart was evil, and Jehovah repented that he had made man, for the earth was corrupt before him. It was filled with violence. I want you to think about this, because I'm going to comment on this deeply in 1 minute. Yet, in their blindness, say peace and safety. Really? When the sudden destruction come upon them, as travail upon the woman with child, and they shall not escape the wrath to come. For one man's sin enters into the world, and death by sin. I want you to understand what I just read to you. See, when travail come upon a woman with trial, I want you to truly think about this right there. You're going to go through that pain. You can't escape it. But you have women who try to take that side role. Give me drugs to numb the pain. Or give me a C-section to where I don't have to go through the pain. Put me out, if need be, to where I don't have to receive the pain. There's no way to escape that wrath. It got to come. It's going to come. For their desires are swift to shed innocent blood, racing down the path of destruction. And woe to their powers, who defile with works of darkness. Their hearts devise mischief upon their beds. Nation rises against nation, in their wrath, kingdoms against kingdoms. In their pride, wars and rumors of wars filleth the earth, in the sword that devours from the ends of another. But know ye the root of all this violence. Wars and fighting come from the lust within, from the corrupt desires and wars in their members, from covetousness, which is idolatry. Did you know this? Which is idolatry. The lust have not, therefore they kill. Their desires cannot obtain, therefore they fight. The destruction and mystery mark their ways. In the way of peace have they not known the poison of Alps, these snakes, and under their lips. Their mouth is full of cursing and bitterness, their throats and open sepulchres. Their tongues they have used deceit. No, they know not Jehovah, neither do they understand. They don't understand him. They walk in darkness, all their foundations are moved. Therefore, shall they fall and perish in their rebellion. For the wages of sin is death everlasting, from which come wars and fighting among you. Come they not whence even of your lust and the wars of your members. It's interesting. That was James 4:1. The reason why I can't stay here according to the flesh anymore, I have to live according to the spirit. You just see just the flesh just moving. But I have to operate according to the spirit. 2, corruption of the healers. We have to look at this. The most grievous of all corruptions. We did this. We did this. Let me show it to you. Let me show it to you. To where you'll see what I was talking about. In Sirach 6:16, I'm going to show it to you. Then we're going to go back to it. Sirach 6:16. And I want to pull up Sirach 38:4. Then you tell me if I'm lying. 38 verse 4. And we want to look at Psalms 55:12 and 13. Tell me if I'm lying. Tell me if I'm a liar. 55 verse 12 and 13. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. I want you to keep that in your pocket. Keep it in your pocket. Sirach 38:4. For the Lord hath created medicines out of the earth. He that is wise will not harbor them. Keep that in your pocket. For it was not the enemy that reapproached me. Then I could have bored it. You would have seen him coming. Neither was he that hated me did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man of my equal, my guide, my acquaintance. That was him. That was him. That's what we're looking at. So we have to look at this in a better way. Corruption of healers, friends. Supposed to be your friend. The most grievous of all corruptions in this present age, most bitter of soul piercing among the betrayals, in this spiritual treachery that breaketh the heart. When physicians ordained by Jehovah as healers, who shall be a faithful friend? Who should be as faithful friends? The afflicted companion in the valley of the shadow of death, associates walking beside the wounded and broken. Who would be the medicine for the soul of restores? Those very ones become dealers of poison and death, merchants of destruction, healers, garments, wolves in sheep clothing, devouring the flock, serpents offering poison in cups of healing. They who were called to bind up the brokenhearted, to heal the sick, to raise up the fallen, have become the priests of Baal who cuts themselves, leading the people down to destruction gates. In the sacred chambers where healing should flow, they despise venom. Instead, they are the balm of Gilead, making the sick more sick, the weak more weak, the dying to die more swiftly in their anguish. I want you to think about that. You have a lot of people sitting there, well, I'm going to put my family member on hospice. Saying that was a wise decision. I want you to think about that. Many of us here won't admit it, put our family members on hospice. Put them there. Saying, I'm God and I'm going to have you to die. They have made a covenant with death itself. And with hell they are at agreement, calling bitter sweet and sweet bitter, putting darkness for light and light for darkness. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. For Jehovah, in his infinite wisdom and goodness, created medicines from the earth and a man's benefit. Every herb bearing seed upon the face of the earth, trees yielding fruit, trees whose leaves are for healing, he gave unto man with the knowledge in their virtues, in the understanding of their healing properties, that through these gifts the body might be restored. The soul find comfort in the days of affliction. Yet a man in their pride and corruption have perverted the sacred gifts of healing and restoration, turning remedies into instruments of death, making poison into what should give life. Tell me it's not true. Tell me that's not true. Straight perversion. They have taken the tree of life and made it death. They have corrupted the fountain and made it bitter, making bitter sweet the waters of life, and sweet the bitter waters of destruction. The sorcerers of Egypt turned the water into blood. So the false healers turned the healing to harm, mixing their poison with the spirit of the Antichrist. With the Antichrist, binding the people with stronger chains than before. They promise, heal but deliver bondage. They speak of cures but work corruption. For their hearts is far from Jehovah. Their lips draw near, but they honor him with their hearts in evil. A simple trust in their white coats and degrees, but wise men discern the fruit by the trees. And by their fruits you should know them. Surely, whether they be of Jehovah or by Baal, same as anybody's family member. Same as family members of the flesh. You'll know them by their fruits. The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not harbor them. Remember the terrible perversion Jehovah designed. 2 sacred gifts ordained for preservation of life. 2 pillars upon the healing shall rest. 2 streams from which restoration shall flow. The faithful friend with the heart full of love, and the herbs of the earth to heal. Both have been turned against those who seek truth. Both have been corrupted by the spirit of this age. A faithful friend has become Judas' betrayer. How can you put your mother, your father, your wife, your husband, your child, put them on hospice? You're a betrayer. I know people, you can cry all you want to, but you're a betrayer. You're a worker of Satan. This is what you have done. These streams of restoration flow, a faithful friend. Both these are turned against those who seek the truth. Both has corrupted their spirits at this age. Faithful friends has become Judas' betrayer. They kiss the peace and hide in the dagger and destruction. The companion become the false witness. The associate has become the accuser brethren. The herbs that should heal has been polluted, mixed with the sorceries of merchants of the earth, becoming snares instead of salvation, the traps instead of deliverance of afflicted. Once the sick can find the faithful friend. Once we can find that faithful friend to comfort in the hour of the greatest need. Now you find the serpent speaking smooth words, leading them down the chambers of death. Brother, you're going to die. Let me go ahead and get on this program here, because you're going to die anyway. Once led confined the simple herb of healing created by Jehovah for their restoration. Now you find complex poisons mixed with evil, designed to enslave rather than to liberate. Thus, both pillars of healing, they are broken. Both foundations, both fountains has been stopped with stones, and the people perish for the lack of knowledge, having no balm in Gilead. No physician there, because they have taken not as an enemy. They are not taken as an enemy to you. I want you to think about these things. The deepest pain pierces the soul, the most excruciating anguish of the heart is the wound of the fester that will not heal. The grief that knoweth no earthly comfort, and the betrayal of those who should be faithful treachery. Of those who should be true. Even David the king cried in his anger. The same thing with Ahithophel. His counselor turned against him. Who the friend of his bosom was the enemy, became his enemy. He was trusted advisor. I told you this right at the beginning. I told you we're going to go back on him. Became the false accuser. He was not an enemy that reapproached me. But then I could have bored it with strength. It was not he that hated me openly, that did magnify himself against me in battle. This happens to a lot of us. For then I would have hid myself from him in the strongest hole, in the highest places of refuge. This is a lot of your friends, your family members, your brothers, your sisters. You say if you want to, your wives, your husbands. Say it's not, but it's true. You can say it's not, but it's 100% true. But it was thou, O man of my counsel, a man of my equal in wisdom, understanding, my guide, the path of righteousness, my acquaintance, who walked with me in the house of Jehovah, who took sweet counsel together with me, who walked in the house of God in company. This is the betrayal cuts to the bone. This is what I experienced in this world. The wound that reaches unto the dividing of the soul of the spirit. And the hand that should heal becomes the hand that hurts. When the voice that should comfort becomes the voice that condemns. When the friend becomes the enemy in sheep's clothing, the physician becomes the dealer of death. For the soul can prepare for open war. The soul can. I want you to think about that. The soul can prepare for open war. Can arm itself against declared foe? But who can guard against a trusted friend? Think he's a friend. You can't. Who can armor the heart against a familiar voice? How? You can't. For it was not an enemy that reapproached me, then I could have borne it. But it was thou. It was you. A man of my own equal, my own acquaintance. So we're looking at this root of this temporal destruction that we have found that's going on here. We have to look at this. And this is why it has so much content that I'm pushing on this. And it tells you the root of the temporal destruction, hearken unto this dark mystery and understand. And understand. This violence that filleth the earth like a flood. All this corruption of healing that turneth medicine to poison. All this betrayal of friends that maketh the heart to bleed. These are but fruits, not the roots of evil. These are but streams, not the poison fountain. These are but symptoms, not disease itself, that eateth like the cankers of the soul of man. The root, yea, the very tap root of destruction springs from the carnal mind, which is enmity against Jehovah, that corrupt reasoning and set itself above the Most High, that rebellious and saith, I will ascend into heaven. I will ascend into heaven. Remember this parable. The carnal mind is like unto a serpent coiled in the garden of the heart, whispering lies in the chambers of thought. Ye should not surely die. Ye should not surely die. But shall be as gods. He that is like unto leaven and three measures of meal, working secretly until the whole is leavened, with corruption spreading its poison throughout every faculty of the soul, until nothing's pure remaineth in all temples. The carnal mind is enmity against Jehovah, not just opposed, but actively at war, not simply rebellious, but utterly hostile. As darkness cannot fellowship with light, it cannot submit to the laws of Jehovah, neither indeed can it, but is contrary to the nature, being conceived in sin, shaping in iniquity, born of the flesh, walking after the flesh. You follow me? This mind reasons against the commandments of the Most High, saying, have Jehovah indeed said ye should not eat? And the enemy questioned every word that proceeded from the Creator's mouth, and seeketh to establish his own righteousness. He calleth good evil when Jehovah calleth it good. follow me? Evil good when Jehovah abhorred it, setting up imaginations of men as higher than Scripture. And the traditions of fathers is greater than truth. For the heart of man is deceitful above all things that Jehovah has made. He's more crooked than a serpent in his winding, more false than the balance of the merchant. It is desperately wicked, beyond all knowing, death in the pits and line of the phantom. And who can know it save Jehovah alone, who searches the hearts and tries to ruin us. The heart is deceived in his own oppressor. Make him think he is rich and when he is poor. He seeth when he is blind, and the righteous when he is wicked. He painteth sin with colors of righteousness. You see it today. Purple people eaters, they call them. Making bitter things taste sweet, clothing rebellion, and garments of religion, making self-willed appearance as devotion. Their heart is deceitful above all things, desperately wicked. Who can know this? Who can know it? Showing you that what I'm talking about. So let me pull it back over here. I want you to see it. Jeremiah, I want you to see where I'm pulling that from. And then we're going to go back to it. Jeremiah 17, verse 9. It's telling you, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Who can know it? Who can know it? So you follow me. 13, we go more. Out of this corrupt fountain, this poison well, out of this heart, this is an open sepulchre, proceed evil thoughts like a river of filth, like a flood of abomination, covering the earth, coming forth the evil thoughts, the imagination of the wicked, conceived in the secret chambers of the mind, where no human eye can see their birth, but where Jehovah beholdeth every motion. For these thoughts are the parents of the visible sin, the roots from which all evil fruit doeth grow. For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. And from the evil thought proceedeth murders. Murders. I want you to understand what we get into here. Murders. But it gets better. It gets better. Let's look at it. Not only the slaying of the body with the sword or the poison, but the murder of reputation and lying tongue and killing of hope with the words of despair, the destruction of faith with doctrines of devils, assassination of character with the false witness, and slanders of innocent with corrupt teachings, the spiritual murder of souls through deception. We can go from Martin Luther King down. Just did this. They murder with their eyes full of adultery. They murder with their hands full of bribes. They murder with their feet swift to shed blood. And their throats is open to the sepulchres of death. From the corrupt heart floweth adultery, from not only the breaking of marriage vows in body, but the spiritual adultery of the soul with idols, unfaithfulness to Jehovah, who is the true husband. The whoring after strange gods in their abomination, the mixing of holy things with profane in worship, corruption and pure doctrine with traditions of men, joining to the temples of Jehovah with Baal. They commit adulteries in their hearts. Every lust they break the covenant of the Almighty with temporal gain, play the heart of the kingdoms. You follow me? You following this? this spiritual adultery. Jehovah, who the true husband, horn after these strange gods. They commit adultery in their hearts and lust and break the covenant of the Almighty in temporal gains and play the harlot with the kingdoms of this world, and they sell their birthright for a mess of pottage. From this wicked fountain springs thieves, not only taking of goods that belongs to another, but the selling of glory that belongeth to Jehovah alone. And robbing of tithes and offerings from the storehouse, the thief of time that should be spent in prayer and study, stealing of truth and adding to the dimension of words, the robbery of justice and perverting judgment for reward, and the thief of the soul, leading them astray with false doctrine. They steal with their tongues and speak lies. They rob with their hands and take bribes. They pilfer with their hearts and covet their neighbor's goods. And their whole life is one continuous thief from heaven. Continuous. From the heart proceeds false witness. Proceeds false witness. Not only perjury in the courts of earthly judgment, but bearing false witness against Jehovah himself, saying he has spoken it when he had not spoken, attributing him words he never uttered, making him an author of confusion and lies, claiming his blessings upon the abominations, and putting words in his mouth that blaspheme his character. They bear false witness against their neighbors with gossip. They lie about the righteous to justify themselves. They twist the words of the faithful to make them appear evil. And their testimonies are webs of deception. But the most abominable of all proceeded from the hearts are the blasphemies that defileth the mouth. Most of all, they speak evil against the Most High in his character. They attributing the works of Jehovah unto Satan. They calling his miracles the powers of Beelzebub and mocking the holy name. And just in profanity. Denying his existence while enjoying his gifts, cursing in his providence while eating his bread and reviling his laws while claiming his protection. In speaking against the Holy Spirit, will have no forgiveness. They blaspheme his creation by calling it evolution. They blaspheme his providence by calling it chance, and they blaspheme his judgment by calling them unfair. They blaspheme his mercy by presuming upon it. They blaspheme his justice by denying eternal punishment. They blaspheme his holiness by making him approve all sin. They blaspheme his word by calling it a myth by fable. They blaspheme the Son by denying his own deity, who Jehovah is. They blaspheme this servant and sacrifice and made it a man. With their mouths they honor him, their hearts is far from him. They made use of his name to sanction their own will. They claim his authority for their rebellion. They make his grace to cloak with their lasciviousness. Therefore, beware, O ye children of men, from the corrupt hearts that proceed out of the evils and turn this world into the valley of dry bones, murders, adulteries, thieves, and false witness. These four horsemen is the apocalypse of the souls riding forth, bringeth destruction upon the earth. I want you to think about that as we move forward. Therefore, trust not in the oppressions gained by violence, neither become vain in robbery, obedience by deceit. For those who live by the sword of wickedness shall perish by the sword of Jehovah's judgment. Those who sow the wind corruption shall reap the whirlwind of destruction, and those who dig pits for the innocent shall fall into the pits that they have done. Doug. Seeing these are all the abominations that flow from the hearts that are all joined into his world, from the minds that are conformed to the patterns formed the soul in the feast of the table, demons. And seeing these celebrations of heathens, the fountains from which corruption springs, they breeding grounds, where evil thoughts are neutered, the grounds where the seeds are planted, murders, adulteries, thieves, and false witnesses. Therefore, trust not the oppression or robbery, for those who live by violence shall perish thereby. Out of the heart perceive evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornication, thieves, false witness, and blasphemies. So I make this declaration here to you. This is a declaration that we're going to go through to make sure that you clearly understand everything that I say here. I want to make sure that you're real clear on what's getting ready to go down here. I want to make sure that you understand every word that I say here today. This declaration of my spiritual death to my family. Anyone who is according to the flesh. Therefore, having seen the depth of corruption, having beheld the fountains of iniquity, having understood the root of temporal destruction that sprang forth the hearts that join unto the world, this day, I declare unto you with a solemn oath before Jehovah, his holy angels, witness in the presence of heaven and the earth, as my record of this world to all therein, I'm dead to your birthdays. I'm dead to your birthdays. Your birthday celebration, your annual feast, your worship, your vanity, where men exalt themselves above the Maker, demanding honor and gifts as though they were God. Celebrating the day that he entered into sin and he drew his first breath in corrupted air, making merry over the journey towards the grave, counting it joy, marked another year for rebellion. These celebrations fed the pride of life. They nourish the lust of the flesh, strengthening the bond to love self. Turn the heart away from gratitude to Jehovah alone, giving breath of life in all things. I'm dead to your Thanksgiving feast. I'm dead to those, not giving thanks unto Jehovah for his mercies. But these, they perverted the festivals of gluttony and traditions where men gather to feast upon slaughter upon the innocent, mixing the holy with the profane in their observance, joining to the traditions of heathen harvest festivals with their name of Jehovah, taking it in vain, making a mockery of the true gratitude by setting aside the day of thanksgiving while living in ingratitude of all other days. Give thanks unto their lips with their hearts as far off. They bless the food while cursing their neighbor. They praise Jehovah at the table while serving mammon in life, making their thanksgiving a cloak of covetousness. I'm dead to your Halloween observances, those who celebrate the death of darkness, where the children is taught to commune with spirits. They delight in images of horror and evil and mock reality of death and judgment and make light of the powers of darkness. Their festivals open the doors of demonic influences. They familiarize the young hearts with symbols of Satan. They teach the innocent to find pleasures in fear and make the dreadful seem delightful. They fellowship, have light with darkness. Do it. They commune, have Christ with Baal. What agreement have a temple of Jehovah with idols? Can those who are called to be children of light participate with the works of darkness? I'm dead to your Christmas traditions. Those who love merging heathen winter solace worship with the holy name of the Messiah, taken in vain, where the beginning of the Prince of Peace is celebrated with mammon of unrighteousness, where the coming of the light of this world is mixed with the darkness of heathen customs, where the stories of the humble, stable birth and corrupt tales of flying reindeer and magic. These traditions, these children to lie, they promote covetousness and virtue. They make the holy season a season of time and debt in excess. They turn worship of Jehovah into a service of commerce. I'm dead to your heathen ways, to your Easter eggs, your bondage, your fertility of worship, your Valentine heart of Roman heathenism, the New Year's rivalries, a Babylonian calendar, your Mother Day, your Father Days. The human exhortation of all traditions make void the commandments of Jehovah for all customs of the heart. Away from pure worship, all practice in conformed minds of this world pattern. For it is written by the prophet even to Jeremiah. I'll show it to you if you want to see it. Actually, I want you to see it. I want you to see this. We're going to look at Jeremiah, and then I'm going to go back to it. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2. It's telling you right there. And it's telling you, thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, neither and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen is dismayed at them. Make sure you can see it. I'm going to make sure you can see it right there. Make sure you can see it. Don't be dismayed at that. So this is why. This is why. So these traditions that's gone through there, you don't learn the way of the heathen. Be dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the custom of the people are vain. These things, these things is what we're talking about. These things is what we hold on to. So as we getting ready to go down into it, you understanding now why I hold to what I hold to. For it is written, these things are but vanity, emptiness, vapor that passes away like morning mist. Works of the flesh profiteth nothing. Leaven and bread of Gentiles, this leaven of Gentiles which corrupt. Vanity of vanities, said the preacher of vanities. Vanity is all vanity. Be not conformed to this world's pattern, but be ye transformed by the renewing of the mind, that ye prove what is good and acceptable, perfect will of Jehovah Most High. Be not conformed to this world. Be not transformed, but be ye transformed by the renewing of the mind. You guys following me? We got to understand this. Let's go there, let's grab some more. And ye prove that which is good, acceptable, and perfect will of God. So now we're looking at this mystery of this Passover. We got to look at this and understand what I'm talking about. And it tells us more like this. It says, now hearken unto this deep mystery. Who have ears to hear, this Passover is which I speak is not of flesh, but of spirit. Not a slaying of the lamb, a one night protection, but the spiritual deliverance of the soul of eternal bondage, the redemption that reaches the uttermost parts of being from the laws of sin and death that ruleth all in the members. For there is the law that worketh in the flesh, warring against the war of the mind, bringeth the soul in captivity to the law of sin, which in the members, in organs of corruption. This law demandeth payment to every transgression, exact the full penalty for every rebellion, and the wages of sin under the law is death. Not only the death of the body that returns to the dust, but the death of the soul that's separated from Jehovah in the second death. Have power over the wicked. I want you to follow me. You got to follow me on this one. Let's look at this. But remember the mystery of redemption. The deliverance is purchased, not with silver that tarnishes, not with gold that perishes in the fire of judgment, not with corrupted things, with corruptible things that moth, rust, and consume, not with the blood of bulls and of goats that cannot take away sin, not with the works of the law that condemn transgressors, but with the covenant of obedience unto Jehovah the Most High. The binding agreement written not in the tablets on stone, but upon the fleshly tablets of your heart. This covenant, this seal, not with the blood of beasts, but with the precious blood of the Lamb. Without spot, the Lamb slain for the foundation of the world, whose blood speaketh better things than of Abel. It is a covenant of better promises than old established upon the better sacrifices of those of the law, and put away sins of sacrifice of himself, and maketh a conscience perfect that he did service. Yet this covenant demandeth obedience. This covenant demandeth obedience, not presumption. Faith that worketh by love, not faith that is dead. Circumcision of the heart, not of the flesh only. A keeping of the commandments through the power of his Spirit. For faith without works is dead. Being alone, and he that saith he know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a bold-faced, unadulterated, low-down, dirty dog, snake liar. That can be your mama, your daddy, your husband, your kids, I don't care who they are. You're a liar. And the truth is not in him. The devil also believeth and trembled, but their faithful profited them nothing unto salvation. The firstborn of Israel was spared by blood. When the destroyer passed through the land of Egypt, when death visited every house, there was not covering. There was no covering when the angel of the Lord smote the firstborn of the oppressors. So shall the soul escape the spiritual death through the blood, through this lifestyle of the covenant sprinkled upon the conscience, but cleaving unto the commandments of the Father with purpose of heart and steadfast of spirit, and forsaking utterly the ways of the heathen that lead down the chambers of death. For on the night in Egypt, it was not enough to have the lamb slain and the blood shed, but the blood must be applied on the doorposts. It has to be applied on the doorposts. In the lintel, the two sides of the post in every house, and the blood must be visible in the sign of the destroyer, a testimony that here dwelleth one fear of Jehovah, who has obeyed the commandments and every peculiar, and trusted not in his own righteousness, but in the blood, in the lifestyle. Even so must my obedience be visible before men. It has to be visible before men. My separation from this world must be apparent to all. My forsaking of heathen ways must be complete in though living not mixture or wholly with profane. In my practice, it profit nothing to claim the blood inwardly, while outwardly as a heathen lives. A lot of people do that even here. To speak of salvation while walking of the customs of Egypt, to profess Jehovah while serving gods of the nations. These commandments of the Father is not grievous to them that is born of Jehovah, that love him. For his yoke is easy, his burden is light. To them that taketh upon them with willing hearts, but the carnal mind, they are wearisome and heavy. For the flesh loveth against the spirit, and always the natural man receiveth not the things of the spirit, neither can they call them that are spiritually discerned. Because just like what I said, a lot of us, we'll sit there and we'll celebrate a holiday or we'll celebrate a birthday, and then we just won't call it a birthday. We'll call it something else to where you can still do it. You're a heathen. Well, we'll just call it something else. Really? Okay. Just like I said, my own mom, she'll be turning 83 this year. We don't celebrate it. I call it, hey, Mom, you done made it another year. You're 83. Congrats. But you have some people going to go celebrate that. They still a heathen. They never really crossed over. Therefore, I must cleave to his commandments, as Ruth cleaved unto Naomi, saying, whither thou goest, I will go. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God, my God. I must hold fast to his precepts as drowning men hold fast to the rope that is thrown to save him. For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh that keep them. For one to understand the mysteries of two kingdoms. Flesh is Egypt, and chains of bondage. The house of slavery where the taskmaster ruled with rigor, where the people groan under the burdens and cannot bear, where they make bricks without straw. Where they cry unto heaven, but their prayers seem unheard. Where they're fed with leeks and onions and temporal pleasures, but starve for bread that cometh down from heaven. In Egypt, the flesh of every man is a slave, and lust of the war is in his member. To the traditions that blind him with visible chains, to the custom that maketh him bow down to golden calves, and to appetite that demands satisfaction day and night, to pride that will not submit to Jehovah's authority, to fear a man that bringeth a snare, and to love of this world is enmity against Jehovah. I don't care how we look at it, how we flip it, all day. But the Spirit is the promise of life, the land of this life and peace. That's good land flowing with milk and honey, where every man sitteth under his own vine fig tree, where Jehovah giveth rest round about from all enemies, where the wolf and the lamb feed together, where they hurt not nor destroy, and all his holy mountain, where the earth is full of knowledge, and Jehovah as the waters that cover the sea in their abundance. It is the promise of the land and spirit, and the soul findeth rest from the labors and burdens of flesh. Peace from the wars and fighting, and the carnal mind, joy in the presence of Jehovah, continually strength renewed as the eagles that mount up on wings, bread from heaven, and satisfy the hungry soul, living the waters that springeth up, the eternal life, and the fruit of the Spirit, all goodness and righteousness. So the Passover is the crossing from one dominion into the inheritance of another. Slavery and liberty, Jordan crossing from wilderness unto promise. It is not a place, but a passage. Not a destination, but a deliverance. Not a position, but a process of transformation. You following me? From glory unto glory by the Spirit of Jehovah, as the children of Israel passed through the sea on dry ground with the walls of water. These walls of knowledge on either side must the soul pass through the waters of baptism unto the newness of life, the resurrection, the power. The old man is buried with Christ in the baptism unto death, and the new man rises with him in the likeness of his resurrection, that is Christ, which was raised from the dead in the glory of the Father. Even so we also should walk in the same newness of life. This passage cannot be made grainly. There is no low transition. There is no slow transition from Egypt to Canaan. no partial deliverance from the house of bondage, no mixture of kingdoms in the soul of man. Either the flesh reigneth and the spirit is in bondage, or the spirit reigneth and the flesh is crucified. For no man can serve two masters. He will love one and hate the other. Therefore, choose you this day who you will serve, whether Egypt of fleshly pleasures and worldly conformity, or the promised land of the spiritual life in holy separation. For the time of choosing is short. The day of visitation will not last forever. And they that delay the crossing may find the waters have returned and the passage is closed. And they must perish in the wilderness in their indecision. This is going to happen to a lot of people. This is going to happen to a lot of people. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Isaiah 28, verse 10. Jehovah commanded through Moses, saying, observe all these words that you may go well with thee. Understand the mystery of the divine methodology. Jehovah built the understanding, the soul, not through great revelations that we will see and understand. Could you see it here? Isaiah 28 and verse 10. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. So we see it. We see it. So to understand this mystery, this divine methodology, we have to understand what's going on. But through the patient accumulation of a spiritual truth, each perception supporting the next, each line of instruction strengthening the foundation of the former, the master builder layeth one stone upon another with perfect precision, ensuring each is level and true before placing the next. So doeth the Most High establish his law in the hearts of his people through this gradual, systematic revelation. The carnal mind desires immediate knowledge and instant wisdom, seeking to bypass the process of careful instructions. But the spiritual mind receiveth each precept with joy, knowing that every word from the mouth of Jehovah is precious and necessary for building, for righteousness. This method, it preventeth pride from entering into the heart, for no man can boast and receive all knowledge in a moment, but must acknowledge the dependence upon Jehovah for each new understanding. When Moses commanded the people to observe all these words and not merely giving legal instruction, but establishing a principle that obedience in one precept prepares the heart to receive the next. You follow me? In the spiritual progress cometh only through faithful adherence to each revealed truth. For he that is faithful in a little shall be made ruler over much. He that is despiseth the small precept shall not be entrusted with greater mysteries. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. This is why it runs this way. That's why it runs this way. So we get this and we start understanding a lot more as we move down and we see that it says, but the people is forsaking Jehovah for the laws, this very thing, making his word and none effect through traditions. Therefore come out from among them and be ye separated and touch not that unclean thing ye receive. Here lieth the root of the spiritual contamination. It is necessary for the complete separation when the soul carries the smallest portion of worldly traditions or heathen customs within spiritual chambers is caused the cosmic disruption that affected not only the individual but the entire body of the believer in the spiritual atmosphere in earth itself. For the spiritual realm, for the spirit realm operated according to the laws as fixed as those governing the natural world, just as a single drop of poison contaminates the entire well. So doeth the carrying of the unclean traditions of the spiritual pollute in the streams divine blessing that should flow through Jehovah's people in all nations. So when one who is called by his name participated with the customs of the heathen, even in heart or memory, he becometh as a breach in the wall. You follow me? I want to make sure you catch that. I want to make sure you clearly understood that. If you have participated in any type of heathen custom in your heart and your memory, he becomes a breach in the wall, a separation of Jehovah that who establishes well light and darkness, allowing corruption in the world to flow through the holy place of the holiness. So Jehovah to leak out unto the profane realm. This is why the command is not merely to avoid evil, to touch, concerning ourselves with unclean things. Even the slightest contact created a spiritual conduit through which defilement can travel. The traditions of men is like leaven spreading invisible throughout the whole lump. The congregation until the pure worship Jehovah thoroughly corrupted the mixture. Therefore, separation is not merely a personal sanctification, but it's a universal responsibility. A universal responsibility. And to carry the worldly things in the spirit becometh unwittingly an agent of spiritual contamination, causing glory of Jehovah to depart and opening doors for the prince of the world to establish his influence where the holy should reign, making the word of God none effect through your traditions. Wherefore come out from among them and be ye separated, saith the Lord. I want to pull that one verse. I had that there because I wanted to make sure I remembered it. So 1 second. We're going to go to 2 Corinthians 6:11. 6:17. 1 second. 6:17. Yeah, 6:17. 1 Corinthians 6:17. I don't want to run that for a reason. And it says, what? Know ye not which ye are joined to a harlot is one body? For two saith he shall be one flesh. Be not ye joined to this body of harlots. This is what this is getting into. So it's telling us one thing, but we want to remember a couple of things. So I want to make sure, I want to pull another one up here. I want to look at it, Leviticus. I want to pull this because just running it through here. Let's go to Leviticus. We're going to pull some law. We're going to go back to what we were doing. Leviticus chapter 23. We're going to look at 1 and 2. And I want to show you something. It says, the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, speak unto them, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts. I want you to remember that. Don't forget it. Remember and don't forget it. So we're going to go into this. We're going to look at this. This is the discernment of holidays. We're looking at these are holy days for him. And it says Jehovah has appointed his own feast. He's appointed his own feast. His own feast. I want you to keep that in mind. He appointed his own feast. And from the foundation of the world. I want you to keep that in mind. Ye men has inverted their own celebration in their pride. Every way seem right in a man's own eyes. But Jehovah ponders the heart of all. Understand the fundamental truth that's shaking that very foundation of religious assumption. Jehovah, the creator of times and seasons, has appointed specific days as holy convocation, not a suggestion for religiously inclined to influence one to have or take an attitude towards something, but as divine appointments that carry eternal significance and spiritual power. These are not just ceremonies or cultural observances, but universal events that align the soul with heaven calendar and open portals of blessings that remain sealed in other times. So Sabbath observance in the evening, from evening to evening, which is from 6 to 6, is a weekly reminder that Jehovah is the creator, and that man must cease from his own work and enter into his rest. Passover commemorates the deliverance from bondage, from the transition from living the lifestyle of the flesh to the lifestyle of his covering, living according to the Spirit, that saves one from death, appointing the ultimate sacrifice, establishing the covenant of the Lamb who maketh atonement for Jehovah. The Feast of Unleavened Bread teaches that putting away sin in the corruption of life. The 7 completed days, first fruits, celebrates the resurrection, the power, and learning from the mistakes made once the seeds were planted in the past year. So if you made some mistakes in the past year, you got to bring those forward. You got to let them know what you done did, and the pause and take away therein the first portion, the acknowledgement, exactly what I was saying, of your sin and correction, and giving to Jehovah. Exactly what we had to do to increase. The Pentecost, which is tabernacles, marks the giving of the law, the instructions, and the outpouring of the Spirit. Not these kind of celebrate people, oh, we're going to go party, we're going to go. No, not that. It's dumb as a rock, but people do it. The Feast of Trumpets sounds the alarm of spiritual awakening and calling the people. That's something, but it's the Day of Atonement that brings the covering of sin and cleansing of the sanctuary. And through the feasting of humiliation before the Most High. The Feast of Tabernacles rejoices Jehovah's provision and knowledge and protection, dwelling in the temporary booth, which is our bodies, to remember the wilderness is a journey to anticipate the eternal dwelling with Him. Technically, that's what it's doing. And yet man, we have to do their wisdom is set aside these divine appointments to observe birthdays, celebrates the flesh, Christmas mingles heathen winter solstice in these holy names, Easter, which corrupts the Passover, the fertility goddess worship, and the thanksgiving and turn gratitude into gluttony. Every way of man seems right in his own eyes, because the carnal mind judges according to appearance and traditions. But Jehovah ponders the heart in all that seeth the true motivation that's behind every observance. That's your catch. That's how you understand this. So now, when the kinsmen say, celebrate as the fathers did, keep this in mind. When the kinsmen say, celebrate as the fathers did, remember there's a way that seems right, but the end thereof is the ways of death. Exactly what's happening. Thereof choose the appointed times of Jehovah. But most people are still not going to do it. Herein lies the great deception that ensnares even the elect, because a lot of the elect going to get caught up into this. That appeals to the ancestral traditions and family unity, and making the keeping of man-made holidays appear as virtues in their abandonment and betrayal of sacred bonds. Because the whole people going, no matter what, they still going to find a way to celebrate something with their family. Technically what I'm saying. And that's why I say it's learn not to wear the heathen. When kinsmen gather and say, come celebrate as our fathers did, for this is our heritage and our culture, and abstain is a separate yourself from the family to dishonor the memory of those who came before. The souls are tested in the furnace in familial pressure and emotional manipulation. Because that's you being tested on. You really been, so when you being tested to go do these things, set them up and all this stuff, you actually going through a test. And if you fail them, you showing who you really serve. But remember the words of the wise in Solomon. There's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but every step of the way it passeth appeareth justified and blessed. Yet the end thereof are the ways of death. Not only physical death, but spiritual death, the separation of the soul from Jehovah through the compromise and mixture. Because that's what they're going to, no matter what, they're going to mix it. This is what people are going to do automatically. So the traditions of the Father, though they seem innocent, are filled with love and joy, carry within the seed and spiritual destruction, because they teach the heart to find satisfaction in that which Jehovah have not appointed, to seek blessings through means he have not ordained, and substitute human wisdom for divine commandments. They're going to do this automatically. And so it gets even more to it. So now when the soul learneth to celebrate Christmas, he learneth to mix holy with profane. That's what you're actually doing. You're learning how to mix that. So you're being trained to do this. You're being trained from a kid. And it says, and when your soul observeth Easter, you learn to substitute heathen symbols with biblical truth. You learn this from a kid. And when our soul honor birthdays, you learn from a kid, it learns to exalt the flesh that should be crucified. Again, you learn that from a kid. And when it keeps Thanksgiving, as the world keepeth it, it learns to give thanks in a manner that Jehovah has not commanded, while neglecting the appointed times which were specified required for gratitude. Those seemingly innocent observances created pathways in the heart, though which is greater compromises will later flow in the soul that has learned to disobey in small things, will not hesitate to disobey in greater things when pressures become strong enough. Therefore, choose ye appointed times of Jehovah through kinsmen. Though kinsmen may reapproach you, and friends may forsake you, for it is better to be alone with the truth than in company in error. It is better to offend man than to offend Jehovah, who sees all things. But still, again, most people still going to honor their parent. No matter what, they still going to do it. But the main thing is, we have to make the separation. So there's a way that seemeth right unto man, but the ways thereof is the ways of death. That's why we're looking at this in this way. This is why we got to hold on to this and see what's going on. So as we go through it. So stand ye in the way and seek the path of old, the old path, where the good way walk therein. For to obey is better than sacrifice. To hearken is better than the fat of rams. The call to discern requires not only the rejection that which is false, but the active seeking which is true. The ancient is proven by testimony of ages. Stand ye in the way that many path coverage, and see with spiritual eyes difference between broad road that leadeth to destruction and narrow path that leadeth to life. As for the old path, not the innovation of the generation or tradition that began a few centuries ago, which, again, my trust in people is extremely low. So I know you guys probably can hear that as I sit there, as I keep saying, but I know people is not going to do that. But the ancient path where the established belonged to Jehovah spoke Moses, gave commandments where to be observant throughout the generation. These old paths are not popular with the multitudes, but they require sacrifice and separation and putting away of fleshly pleasure. They are not endorsed by the religious majority, for they expose the corruption in this denominational Christianity and mixing of truth with error, and they made the modern church indistinguishable from the world in celebrations. That's what it's telling you. But these are good ways and test of times, proven by the testimony of the faithful who walk in them and found blessings, peace, and presence of Jehovah in their observances. Exactly what's going on. So the appointed feasts of Jehovah are prophetic shadows that reveal the plan of salvation, pointing to specific aspects of the Messiah's work and the restoration of all things. In Passover, revealing his death, unleavened bread, the sinless life, first fruits, his resurrection, Pentecost, the outpouring of the Spirit, trumpets, the second coming of the atonement, the final cleansing of sin, the tabernacles, his eternal dwelling in his people. To obey these commandments regarding the holy holidays, the holy days, is better than sacrifices of Christmas, giving of Easter, devotion of birthdays, celebration, obedience that touches hearts in Jehovah, while sacrifice without obedience and abominations unto him. Okay. So, to hearken unto the voice concerning when and how to worship more precious to him than the fat of rams in the days of human appointment. Meaning this, that the parts of worship in the spirit is truth according to the word, not according to the imagination and inventions of men who think to improve upon the perfect design. Thus, said the Lord, stand ye in the ways that ye see, and ask of the old path which were good therein. So we're looking at that to where I want to get you to a point. And I want to show you these two, because these two, I'm gonna finish these two, but then I'll finish some of the other probably in the back, because this is some information, but I'm right there at it, but I'm gonna finish most of them probably in the back. And what do I want you to do? I want you to just look at something. I want you to see something. We're gonna look at Psalms 119. I want you to see this. Psalms 119, but we're going to go to 72. And I want another one, Psalms 19. And we're going to look at verse 7. And I want Psalms 119. And we're going to look at 105. And I'm still grab one more. And I still need, actually I need another one. I know I'm going to need that one. Because I'm going to grab Timothy, but I think I do need Matthew. I'm going to grab Timothy 1:3-16. Yeah, and I think I still am going to need to use it. Let me do this. And I'm going to still need Matthew. Yeah, I'm going to use Matthew. 24 and 35. Okay. Okay, so we're going to read these. It says, law in thy mouth is better unto me than 1,000 of gold and silver. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony unto the Lord is sure, making the wise simple. The word is a lamp unto my feet, my desires, and a light unto my path. And without controversy, the mystery of goodness God will manifest, will make known in flesh, justified in spirit, seen by messengers, preached unto the Gentiles, believed on the world, received up to glory. Okay. So now, always understand this. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. That was the point he wanted you to see. So we got to look at this spiritual inheritance. We want to understand that. So therefore, O beloved, according to the flesh, the inheritance of which I leave unto you. So now this is what I leave to my people. I leave this there. And it says, not silver that perishes or gold that fades, but the treasures of Jehovah, eternal word. The law of thy mouth is better unto me than 1,000 of gold and silver. The law of Jehovah is perfect, converting the soul. His testimonies are sure, making the wise simple. And his word is a lamp unto thy feet, and a light unto thy path in darkness. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. Thy word is a light unto my feet, and a light in my path. All scripture is given by inspiration of Jehovah, profitable for doctrine, reproof, and correction. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but his word shall not pass away forever. All scripture is given by the inspiration of God, and it is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, and instruction in righteousness. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. So I keep repeating that because I want you to really understand where I'm coming from as we do this. And then the inheritance of Jehovah, his word transcends all material wealth because it alone possesses the power to transform into inner man's, from corruption to incorruption, from mortality to immortality. This spiritual treasure becomes the seed of the divine nature planted within the soul, multiplying itself through obedience until the whole being is saturated with the life and character of the Most High, making the receipt a living epistle known and read of all men. So this is what we got to look at. Now let's get down to some nitty gritty. So as we understand this, so we being dead to this world, we want to understand what's going on. We want to really get what's happening here. And we have some scripture here that we still need to blend with this. I still have some I need to blend with this. And actually, want to show you this here. Because I'm showing you where my thoughts is coming from. That's why we run in scripture, because you need to see where I'm coming from. So that's why I'm doing this here. We got to look at Colossians 3:3. And we need to look at Matthew 8:22. Matthew 8:22. And we need Matthew 10:37. Then I'm going to grab one more, which I'm going to keep it on this page. 10:37. And then I'm going to end up grabbing Matthew 6:24. But he said, I'm crucified with Christ. So if you're saying this, then you really are. Crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, not I, but Christ liveth in me. This is why the mystery of being dead to this world. Keep that in mind. This is the mystery of being dead to this world. Not I, but Christ liveth in me. In the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith of the Son of God, the servant of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. So ye are dead, and your life is hid in Christ in God. Everybody follow me. You got to see where this thought is coming from. And we're going to look at another one in Matthew 8:22. But Jesus, so as Yahushua said unto him, follow me and let the dead bury their dead. So we dead, we going off. We doing something else. He that loveth father more than me is not worthy of me. He that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. That's true. That's a true statement. This is why a lot of people are going to love their father more than him, and they're actually going to die, because they're going to hold to a lot of stuff that they do. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 24, it says this, and it's pretty clear. It says, no man can serve two masters. You're either going to serve flesh or you're going to serve spirit. Either you're going to hate one and love the other, or else you're going to hold to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. That's impossible. That's an impossible thing to do. So we got to look at this mystery of being dead to the world. That's why I want you to see where this come from. And actually, I still got some verses in there where we was using here, but I wanted to make sure you just understood where I was coming. I wanted to make sure you knew this. So I got those there, but I don't need them. It says, know ye that to form this day forward, I am one dead to your worldly celebrations. For I am crucified with Christ, yet I live, not I, but Christ live in me. I am crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live, yet not I, but Christ that live in me. I'm repeating that twice to make sure people know it. It says, ye are dead to your life, is hid in Christ Jehovah, the Most High. When ye call upon me to join your festivals, let the dead bury their dead. For ye are dead, and your life is hid in Christ Jesus. Follow me and let the dead bury the dead. That's why I keep running this. And he that loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. I'm reminding you, no man can serve two masters. Ye will serve Jehovah or Mammon. It's telling you right up front exactly what you're going to do, and I keep repeating that. So I kept doing that. And now I'm telling you this right here. As I'm telling you one thing, don't cry for me. Don't do that. Why? Because I'm going to tell you why. It says, but don't cry for me, because I'm dead to the world. But I do cry for you, because you are dead here and dead in the world to come, having chosen temporal pleasures over eternal life, crucified yet living the mysteries of being dead to this world while walking among the living reveals the dual existence in regenerated soul. The divine paradox wherein the spirit dwells in the heavenly places while the flesh treads the earthly ground, creating the supernatural state where the inner man commemorates with Jehovah, where he communes with Jehovah in the throne room of the outer man, navigates a foreign, hostile territory. This dual citizenship manifests as a consistent spiritual tension between two gravitational pulls. This is the issue. The downward draws to the earthly appetites, relationship and customs that seek to reclaim the soul in the present world. And the upward calls for the divine nature to pull the heart towards the eternal realities in heaven conversion. That's what you got to remember. So one who have truly died to this world becomes as a living ghost. You're not invited to nothing, you're not tied to nothing, they don't deal with you on nothing. Technically what happens. And so that's what actually happens. And then it says one who truly died becomes, a living ghost among the spiritually present, even though becomes as a living ghost among the spiritually dead. Present in form, but absent in heart, speaking the same language, yet meaning entirely different things, participating in the necessary earthly function while maintaining the endly sanctuary where Jehovah alone is worshipped. This death to the worldly celebrations is not mere abstinence or religious discipline, but an actual severing of spiritual umbilical cords that once fed the flesh with the milk of this world's pleasures, cutting off the invisible lifeline through which the soul once drew its identity, purpose, and sanctification and satisfaction from temporal things. The resulting of the supernatural indifferences passes all understandings, not the coldness of emotional dead, but the holy detachment of one whose affliction have been transferred to another realm, causing what was once brought intense pleasures and devastating pain to the carnal nature to register only this distant echoes in the heart that now beats in the rhythm with eternity. Seeks and such soul walks among celebration, yet remains uncelebrating, dwells among the celebrating, yet remains unmoved. The springs of joy, having been redirected from the earthly cisterns, the fountain of the living waters that flows from the throne of Jehovah. Herein lies the great reversal of mourning. That's where all this stuff gonna be coming from. And it says, those who weep for those who are once dead in the world, pleasures are actually mourning for their own future. For those who live unto the present world are dead unto this world to come, having chosen the bread that perishes over the bread of life and water of leaven, thirsty over the well that perishes up unto the everlasting life. Literally what's going on. The tears shed and spiritually separated and misplaced, and these that should rather weep for themselves and remain bound to the change of worldly conformity, knowing not that every celebration of this world custom is a nail deeper into the coffin of the eternal hopes. Yeah, this is why this happens. So I'm going to give these verses later if you need them, but I'm going to read this because I get the verses that I'm running this on is on something else. So as we read this, we'll see what's happening. And I need to, actually, I want to tell you what, you got to make sure these kids do. Let me drop this one second. And I'm going to do this. And I can run this in the back if I need to. But I'm going to go down. I'm going to show you. I'm going to go down. We're going to go here. The final warning of promise. This is what I do. We'll run the rest of it if we need to. I can run them in back. The warning unto all that can hear this testament. Choose ye this day whom you will serve, whether the God your fathers served beyond the flood, or the God of the Amorites who land ye dwell. Choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the God which of your fathers on this side of the flood or the God of the Amorites. If you are not hearken unto the commandments, if you despise my statutes and break my covenant, because you have received not the love of truth or salvation, Jehovah shall send strong delusions to believe lies. But if you will not hearken unto me and will not do all these commandments, because that you have received not the love of the truth, that you might be saved. And for this cause God should send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Promise unto those who choose righteousness, and as for me and my house, I will serve Jehovah. If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat of the good of the land, but as for me and my house, I will serve the Lord. If ye be willing to be obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of Jehovah has spoken it, and blessed are they that do his commandments. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword, and the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they have right to the tree of life. So we have this here, and this here, I want to send, this is the last part I want you to see, because I'll finish this out. So it's telling you here on what I'm doing. Write this for a memorial in the book, and rehearse it in the ears of the faithful, for Jehovah will utterly put out remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Write this in a memorial in a book, and rehearse in the ears of Joshua. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I have spoken it, and I will bring it to pass. I have possessed it, and I will also do it. Let them that have ears to hear, let them hear. This is a testament of myself. This is what I wrote, the testament of myself. Elder Michael Johnson, I am dead to this world, yet living unto Jehovah in spirit, unseen by those who walk in the flesh, but known to Jehovah who sees all hearts. He that have ears to hear, what Spirit has to say unto the assembly of the followers of Christ, let him hear and understand the mystery. To be dead to this world is to live unto God. Herein is the last will and testament of the spiritual passport submitted by Elder Michael Johnson, pastor, master of Hebraist of Jehovah's Law, who has passed from death to life, from bondage unto liberty, from the seen to unseen. In the name of Jehovah, Most High, amen. This was my last will and testament to each and every one who holds to those lives, is why it was read. So this is why we need to have this done and why we do this. But what we're going to do, we're getting ready to go to the Zoom, and then if I need to finish those out, I can finish those out back there. But I do want you guys to understand what is happening. And there's a lot of stuff to unpack, but what we have to remember is one thing. You know, many of us still going to try to dabble somewhat into legalistic buffoonery, I could say, of this world. The little is the little, the big is the big. You're still going to end up having to deal with the Most High. So as I said, so each and every person, you're all welcome in the back, because we will be having a class back there after the children's class. So we will be taking information there, but we will be doing similitude. So we have a similitude class going to go on back there. So if you want to make sure that you're part of it, and it, just like I said before, it's a highly interactive class. So make sure that you're going to be part of it. Anybody who just want to sit back there and you feel you're going to be eating grapes, I'm going to tell you right now, you will get checked pretty quickly. So what I'm going to say right now, and then we're going to be getting ready also for tomorrow, and then also let you guys know, Elder Jenkins' Psalms class will not be today. He's actually going to pick that up next week to where he'll be going through. But we will be taking care of that. So don't worry about, he'll be starting that back up. But until then, I'll say to each and every person until we meet again, I'll say to each and every person, Shalom.
somehow stay. Somehow stay. Somehow be my only